back home, and my agent called me, and maybe on Monday it was getting talked about, but there was no real possibility yet. And then all of a sudden, I think it was Wednesday, Thursday, it was time to fly back to Florida and get ready for camp again.
I'm assuming no hesitation when they gave you the call?
Yeah, no, it was exciting. So it's a great opportunity, become world champ. Obviously, it bad circumstances for Almasov right now, but I can't control that. MVP can't control that, and it is what it is, and we have to show up and fight.
Do you see it kind of as a double incentive, because obviously Almasov handing you your first loss, that you be MVP? Not only do you get pieces of the title, but you get to avenge that loss? Yeah,
of course. I respect him. I respect Almasov, a lot, and we had a great battle in there, but I want to get that one back.
And what do you make of MVP? Obviously, very flashy striker. Tries to kind of play some mind games when he's in there. Have you done anything to kind of prepare for that? What are you expecting out of him?
He's a competitor, and he's 20-1 and one of the best guys for a reason. But I've been in a lot of big moments before with wrestling since I was age 5. Competing at the highest level through college and wrestling international. So I know how to compete, and he's got a little different puzzle, but I'm going to go out there and do the best of my ability.
Any worry just being in his hometown that if it's a close fight that, do you think about the judges and stuff like that? I know you never want to leave it in the judges' hands, but do you think about that at all?
The biggest thing I think most of us, especially wrestlers, is when the crowd, starts doing things like that. Especially here, I know that will happen, but I need to do damage and not make it close.
Did you have anyone come in and give you a similar look to MVP, or just, I know you're not short of spectacular training partners, but did you bring in anyone to kind of mimic his style?
Sanford MMA, we have the best, and guys from all over the world with different backgrounds, so we just use those guys.
I want to talk about your Neiman Gracie win. Different style of fight for you, got to show off more wrinkles to your game. What was that experience like going the distance with him?
I got to show, I was a full, complete fighter, and I got to show it to everyone in an exciting fight and a dominant victory, so I was happy with that.
Thank you.
Hi, Logan. So, obviously, fighting on MVP's home soil. Have you had a chance to sort of go around London? Have you met any people? Have you met any fans at all?
I got to walk around here a little bit. Obviously, downtown is a little ways away, so I'm here for a business trip, and I got to take care of me first and make weight tomorrow. But it's beautiful around here. I've enjoyed my time. I've seen my mom and sister here. They've been here for weeks, so I've seen some pictures of the posters, and so it's cool to see on the buses and outside the telephone, things like that. It's cool to see from when I first started, the sport not that long ago, to see a picture all over the city.
MMA is definitely a growing sport in the UK. There's plenty of other companies that get big sort of TV deals. So are you seeing this headline spot, obviously against one of the biggest British guys out there, as a real chance to sort of get your name out there, outside of America into another big market for MMA?
Yeah, of course. I got to go in there and do my job, but you're world champ. I want to go and I want to continue to grow as a fighter, but also get my name out there and let people know. Some of my other fights, where I think most of them have been on the main card, co-main events, things like that. But now you're fighting a big name, who has a backing and fans. So after I get done with that, I think a lot of people know my name.
And obviously you're going to be fighting in Wembley, very much sort of MVP sort of, arena he's fought there. He's won there a lot of times. The crowd reaction is always huge. How are you going to cope with the sort of, what I imagine is probably going to be a fairly boo-heavy, regardless of you as a person, fairly boo-heavy entrance? Is that going to phase you at all, or are you just going to get the job done?
Yeah, it is what it is. You gotta relish it, love it, and I'm excited to be here. But at the same time, it doesn't matter if all those people are from me. I fought in my home city before, and it's fun. But at this point, it doesn't matter. I have to go in there. Once that bell rings, it's just about competing. I've been a competitor my whole life, so you know, maybe I can grab a few fans from him, but you know, I get it. You know, he's from here, and those are his fans.
There you go, fan it. Good to see you in London. Best of luck at the event on Friday. Best of luck with your career.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Hello, Logan. How are you?
Doing well.
Thanks for joining us today. A few questions about Stanford MMA. I know it was brought up earlier. I want to talk about Michael Chandler. Obviously, last weekend, getting that big knockout against Tony Ferguson. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was great. You know, Mike kind of throws that a lot, just messing around with sparring and things like that. And obviously, it worked well. And so it's definitely been in his arsenal. But I'm glad it landed. You know, I trained with Tony when I first got into this sport not quite. You know, when I was a senior in high school, because Brock Lesnar's from my hometown, coached him. So I know both guys really well. Both are legends, and so you know, I'm excited for Mike though.
And then he got on the mic and he produced a 10 out of 10 performance on the mic, and he called out Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje. If they did run it back, how do you see that going as well?
I think Mike's improving. You know, he's improving and he's continuing to get better, but so is Oliveira. You know, that was the best version we've seen of probably both guys. So, you know, I'm always going to ride with my guy, Mike Chandler, but you know, you never know.
Thanks very much. Good luck Friday.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get a couple from Zoom. Santiago.
Hi, Logan. Greetings from Amsterdam. Thank you for the time. There was also Jason Jackson at the top of this division. You, of course, fought 5 rounds with Neiman Gracie, one of the most entertaining fights of 2022. Do you think the promotion had that in their mind when they decided to give you this MVP fight?
Yeah, you know, obviously I think that, you know, it's an exciting fight. People got to see a different side of me, and, you know, my only loss, split decision loss, you know, a fight that I thought I did enough in is the champ, and he's dominated. You know, he went out there against Lima, so, you know, I think it's my time and time to show the world, you know, who I really am against a guy like MVP.
Henry Holt has guided a lot of fighters towards the title. How important has Henry been for you personal and also for your career?
Yeah, Henry's great. You know, I moved to Florida about 5-6 years ago, and as a 4-0 fighter, you know, just in, you know, really not much experience, and got to be around all those guys, world-class coaches, and it's made a huge difference. And you know, I hope to bring that belt back to him Saturday.
Good luck on fight night, sir.
Thank you.
Dylan. Just bear with us one sec.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got it.
Spoke a little bit about your last bout, but your last bout needed it was billed as a battle for ground control. I don't know if either of you guys had over a minute of ground control time, so did you anticipate that fight being a stand-up battle, and are there certain ways to envision this fight playing?
You know, I kind of got to my rhythm early in that fight and felt like I was winning the fight, so there was no reason to play that game with him even, you know, because we've seen what Neiman has done to a lot of guys on the ground, and so I was comfortable with where I was, and I knew he couldn't take me out. So once I got in my rhythm, I didn't really want to change it there. And as far as this fight goes with MVP, you know, I think we both have our game plans. You know, he wants to keep it standing and use his movement. I want to get to my takedowns and do damage on top. But you know, you learn about a lot about each other, you know, once that fight starts to happen, and so we'll see.
Definitely. And what area of your game would you say that you focused most on improving since the last time out here?
You know, just everything, putting everything together. You know, piecing everything together, from my striking to my takedown to doing more damage on top. You know, we spent a lot of time there, a lot of time on the cage. You know, I envision this fight kind of taking place in those areas. So it's just putting everything together, and that's what it's going to take. This fight is a lot of focus and, you know, a well-rounded fight.
Cool, let's go to Ben.
Hey Logan, like you alluded to earlier, four-time NCAA D1 All-American for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. I was curious if you could reflect on some of the largest lessons learned from your time there.
The biggest thing about college wrestling that not many people see is the schedule that we have. I competed 30 to 40 times a year, made weight Friday, then we travel somewhere, make weight Sunday, come back to the University of Minnesota, and I go to school. So there was a lot of things going on. You had to balance that. Just trying to be a college kid, trying to be an athlete. And, I was part of one of the best teams in the country and was ranked high every single year. So there was a lot more to it compared to fighting 3-4 times a year. And that's what a lot of people don't see. But on the other spectrum is I competed against the best guys on a weekly basis. It didn't matter how you felt. It didn't matter how the weight cut went. You had to show up for your team, And so that taught me a lot. And I think it brought me a long, long way in this game.
Could you dissect some of the differences between weight cutting in wrestling and weight cutting in MMA? Is it largely similar, or are there some maybe differences that people wouldn't know?
You guys don't, cut as much weight each week. It's probably more from 6 to 12 pounds, I guess, that I tried to do. Because you have to compete in 1 hour. You make weight, you have to compete in an hour for a duel. You're competing multiple times a day, so you can't pull 20, 25 pounds like you do in MMA. So that is different, and hydration tests, things like that. In college, NCAA testing, was a little more strict, and we were, young college kids, so they were watching us a little more closely because we're not pros, like we are at this level.
Thanks, man. Best of luck.
Cool, let's go to Jay.
Hi, thanks very much. Hey, Logan. One of the criticisms of MVP over the years has been his strength of opposition. There's been a lot of comments about whether or not he's had some favorable matchups and not had his wrestling tested as well. So I'm wondering if you buy into that narrative and what your thoughts are on his wrestling and his takedown defense.
Yeah, obviously, I don't think a lot of guys are lining up to fight either. I think MVP has proven himself though as a top guy, and so I don't have anything disrespectful to say about him in those terms. But as far as wrestling, we've seen Daley, Lima get to their takedowns. But he does a really good job with his hand control and trying to keep you close and get a stand up. So I'm gonna have obviously he's never faced anyone like me, and so. That's a difference that he's never felt inside that cage, and I'm going to take full advantage of that.
All right, thanks very much.
Cool, let's get Cody.
Hi Logan, how you doing, buddy?
Not too bad.
Now, was there any change in your preparation for this because you are an injury replacement downside?
No, I got obviously it was a very quick turnaround, but my body was healed up. So we went around things, and but yeah, I got a good training camp in. I've been in this game for a while now, so I know how to prepare. I know how to get myself to the best of my ability, and that's what we did again. Under Henry Hoof, Tommy Barzini, so those guys have seen the best of the best, and they've also, coached multiple champs, and so I trust those guys with everything, and having Robbie Lawler in your corner, who's been in multiple championship fights, doesn't hurt either.
And do you believe that your last few fights, which have been basically wars that have gone the distance, do you think that gives you an advantage as far as cardio goes?
Obviously it was great to get that last fight, 25 minutes, those extra 2 rounds. Like I said, leading up to that fight, it's just preparing me for this moment right now, preparing me for Friday night, those 25 minutes. And so I was happy with that, So I know I'm tested. I know I can go the distance, push the pace, and that's what I plan to do on Friday night.
Looking forward to a fantastic fight, buddy.
Thank you.
Cool, let's get one from Mills.
Hey, how's it going, Logan?
Hey.
This MMA Locker Room part of Pop Sports Radio, man. Really looking forward to this match taking place this Friday. I have one type of question though. Facing the opponent as dangerous as MVP is, I mean, he fractured the man's skull, broke a man's nose in there in the cage before. Is there anything that gives you some type of resentment to go in there and do your wrestle heavy game plan? Or is it the same thing? You're going to go in there and, try to implement exactly what you're good at, what you can expose him on?
Yeah, those fights were different. Derek Anderson was playing his game with his hands down when he got caught. Forget the other fight. He dove in on a double leg. So those guys aren't me. Obviously I know he's dangerous, and you have to respect him with that. But those guys don't set up the takedowns like me. They're not as heavy on top as me. And, at the end of the day, they're not me. So that's what I have to say about that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I see it seems like you bought your family a new house over the last couple of months recently, right?
No.
Sorry about that.
Thank you for your time, Logan.
All right, thanks.